Welcome back. You made it. This is page 19. We're almost there. We're going to learn notes on the A string. So, before we do, if you haven't watched my video on left hand for whichever instrument you're playing, violin, viola, cello, or bass, for the A string, you might want to consider reviewing where all those notes are on that particular string. Therefore, you can focus on reading the notes on the page. Now also, we've been using our bow for a while, but you might want to consider reviewing how to hold the bow and how to make a sound. We want to practice every different variable separately so that we combine the elements, we're able to do many of them automatically. So we focus on where the notes are on the instrument, we focus on how to hold the bow and make a sound, we put them together, and then we add the component of reading music. Now separately, a great place to practice reading music is musictheory.net, and you can easily make exercises that allow you to practice reading notes on the staff. But remember, on top of every page, you have all the answers. The answers are in the book, so if you get a little bit confused, just glance up slightly. There are your answers. So let's get started. Here we are on page 19. We're going to review the notes on each instrument. So we have open A, no problem, and then we place our first finger B. Boom! First finger is B. Now because you have great left hands, we know that when you place the first finger B down, the wrist will be open and you'll be playing on the tip of your finger. Then we're going to add C sharp, which is a whole step away, still on the tip of our finger, and then boom, high D. That's right, high D. Now for every instrument, the fingerings are slightly different, so make sure to look at the panel on top of the page. For violins and violas, it's open, first finger B, second finger C sharp. For our cello friends, it's open A, first finger B, and then third finger C sharp. And then for our bass friends, it's open A, first finger B, and then fourth finger C sharp. So make sure you're paying attention to the fingerings for your particular instrument. All right, so on page 19, number 1, we get to start with A, B, and C sharp in the first 4 measures. Then we get to go all the way up to high D in measure 5. So let's do what we always do. Step 1, say it, don't play it. Ready? 1, 2, say it, and A, B, B, A, B, B, C sharp, B, rest, C sharp, high D, C sharp, high D, C sharp, B, A. Great. Now we'll air bow it because we want to practice the rhythm in our arm and the fact that we have lifts. So here's our bow. Check that pinky. Is it round? Are your fingers on the frog? Or are they pinching way up top? Make sure we're down and on the frog, and our thumb is nice and round and relaxed in the back of the hand. Air bow number 1 on page 19. 1, 2, air bow, and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, left, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and you may want to practice that air bow a few times just to make sure that your bow is moving for 2 full beats during the half notes and you feel comfortable with the lift. Okay, moving on. If you are ready, if you can say the note names correctly and easily, if you can move your arm in the correct rhythm and connecting those long notes together, well, then you're ready for pizzicato. So we're going to take our instruments and we're going to go out, over, A button, and in the most relaxed way, allow the instrument to sit on our shoulder. We have our fingertips ready, we have our wrist nice and open and that elbow pointing down. Cellos, we're sitting tall with our shoulders square. Here's a problem for cellos and basses. We love to look at our left hand. Well, what happens when we look at our left hand? Our head and neck and spine get twisted. So if you really need to do a check-in, check briefly, and then make sure you're all set up and ready for the exercise in front of you. Okay, here's Pizzicato, page 19, number 1. 1, 2, ready, and A, B, B, A, B, B, C sharp, B, left, C sharp, high D, C sharp, high D, C sharp, B, A. Done. Now again, I highly recommend you do pizzicato several times so you feel very comfortable making sure your fingers go to the right place in the correct rhythm before you try adding the bow and reading the music and placing your fingers in the right way. Okay, but if you're ready, I trust you. Here we go. Put it all together. Bow, left hand, reading music. Page 19, number 1. 1, 2, ready and go. And A, B, B, A, B, B, C sharp, B, left, C sharp, high D, C sharp, high D, C sharp, B, A. Done. That exercise covers the most important things that we do on this particular page. It allows you to work your fingers up to high D and then back down to open A. In number 2, we get to work from the highest note back down to open A, which is always a great skill. Place and remove. So let's say the note names for number 2. Here we go. 1, 2, say it and go. And high D, C sharp, B, B, A, B, B, C sharp, high D, open D, repeat, high D, C sharp, B, B, A, B, B, C sharp, high D, open D, look ahead, high D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, rest repeat, high D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, and done. It's a big one because you're doing all of the notes from the A down to the D string. A lot to keep track of. So make sure you review saying the note names before you move on to the next step. All right, air bow time. We get our bow. We make sure our bow hand is excellent. And this rhythm is quarter notes and half notes. We've done these before, but let's make sure we program our arm with the correct rhythm. 1, 2, ready, and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Repeat. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. B section. Down, up, down, up. Connect your bow, and down, up, down, up, left, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, done. Okay, notice with our bow, we have to move very fluidly with all those quarter notes and then make sure we slow our bow down so we have enough bow to play those long connected half notes. All right, this is a new challenge. When we do number 2 with pizzicato, okay, we have a lot of work to do when it comes to preparing our hand. So violins and violas, make sure we have our 3rd finger high D ready and our C sharp and our B right there ready to go. Cellists, we are tall. We open up our hand, make sure we have all 4 fingers down, 4th finger high D ready to go with our C sharp and our 1st finger B right next door. Basses, you have an interesting part because you have to start on open D and then you have to go down to 4th finger C sharp. So make sure your hand is ready to put all 4 fingers down. Okay, here we go. Pizzicato. Instruments up. 1, 2. Ready and go. And D, D, C sharp, C sharp, B, B, A, B, B, C sharp, C sharp, high D, open D, repeat, and high D, C sharp, B, B, A, B, B, C sharp, high D, open D, B section, high D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, D, D. Repeat and high D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, and done. Nice job on the pizzicato. Boy, putting all those fingers down is tricky. So you might have thought to yourself, what's that dashed line underneath all of those D's in measure 4? Well, they're saying, look, here's the deal. You can play 3rd finger high D violins or 4th finger high D cellos and still play your open D without lifting your fingers. That way you don't have to play the high note and then play the low note and jump away and then try and find it again in some sort of panic. So you can look for shortcuts and ways to make it easier for you to play by thinking a little bit about what your left hand has to do. Okay, I recommend do pizzicato a couple times before you take on the challenge of the bow. But if you're ready, here we go. All together now. Page 19, number 2, with the bow. 1 and 2 and ready and go. And D, D, C sharp, B, B, A, B, B, C sharp, high D, open D, repeat, and high D, C sharp, B, B, A, B, B, C sharp, high D, open D, B section, high D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, lift your bow, and here we go, high D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, and done. Number 2, there's a lot to unpack in there. Make sure you take your time. Say the note names till you're comfortable. Air bow till you're comfortable. Pizzicato till you're comfortable. And then play it to your heart's content as many times as you want with that bow. But for now, let's move on, shall we? That sounds great. All right. Now, number 3 and 4 are fantastic exercises. And as you're doing them, the things to pay attention to are the repeats and what you're doing with your arm as you're moving from one string to the other. We're going to save that idea or that concept for another video. For now, what I'd like to do is jump all the way to number 5, which is can-can. Now, this is a huge project. Can-can has giant leaps, has all the notes that you've learned. It has moving from one string to the other, called a string crossing, and it has leaps, so you have to move up one string and then cross over and move up a different string. Lots of things to work on here. So let's start by saying the note names. Here we are. Can-can. Number 5 on page 19. 1, 2, ready, and D, D, E, G, F sharp, E, A, B, F sharp, G, E, and E, G, F sharp, E, D, I, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, second line, D, and E, G, F sharp, E, A, B, F sharp, G, E, G, F sharp, E, D, A, E, F sharp, D, rest, high D, rest. So maybe even without the video, just make sure you know every single note. If you've forgotten, that's normal. So much of this is new. Just go back into the book and find all the answers on top of the page. If you're looking for notes on the D string, that's page 17 and 18. If you're looking for all the notes on the A string, that's page 19. All the answers. Just move your head slightly up, and there they are. Once you feel very comfortable saying the note names, go ahead and air bow. Ready? This one's pretty straightforward. No lifts to worry about. We just have down bows and up bows. Here we are. 1, 2, air bow, and D, D, E, G, F sharp, E. Keep the bow moving, keep the bow moving, A, B, F sharp, G. Keep the bow moving, keep the bow moving, E, G, F sharp, E, open D, I, D, C sharp, B, A, roll to G, and F sharp, E. Keep the bow moving, keep the bow moving, E, G, F sharp, E, B, F sharp, G, G, F sharp, E, D, A, E, F sharp, D, rest, high D, rest. So the hard thing about air bowing this one is making sure that we're following along and saying the note names while keeping our bow moving and keeping our half notes for full value. When you put the bow on the string, the added challenge is having to deal with changing from the D string to the A string and back and forth. Okay, if you're comfortable saying the note names in rhythm, if you feel pretty good about all the air bowing, let's do pizzicato. When you're doing pizzicato, get in the habit of always looking ahead. Try to avoid playing the note you're looking at. That's like driving a car and staring at the hood of the vehicle as opposed to all of the traffic in front of you. We want to look ahead in the music so we can get our hand ready for what's about to happen. Okay, here we go. Pizzicato, can, page 19. Number 5. 1, 2, ready, and D, E, G, F sharp, E, A, B, F sharp, G, E, sharp, E, D, Heidi, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, D, E, G, F sharp, E, D, A, B, F sharp, G, E, G, F sharp, E, D, A, E, F sharp, D, rest, Heidi. Boom. Now when you feel really comfortable moving your fingers to the correct places, well, yeah, add the bow. So, here is a performance of Can Can, number 5 on page 19. Go ahead and put that bow up on the string, and what I'll do is I'll sing and say your part while I play a different piano part. Let's make some music, shall we?
Okay, sounds fun.
Oh, it is. 1, 2, ready and go. And D, D, E, G, F sharp, E, A, B, F sharp, G, E, G, F sharp, E, D, I, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D, D, E, G, F sharp, E, A, B, F sharp, G, E, G, F sharp, E, D, A, E, F sharp, D. Heidi! You did it! You played Can Can with the bow. Now, if maybe something didn't go well, just practice those couple measures. Say the note names, air bow, pizzicato, and then try again with your bow. Then you can rewind the video and you can play along with me again when you feel more comfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, you're doing great work. You're making progress. And every day you practice, you're going to get a little bit better. And, of course, if you practice every day, by the end of the year, you'll be taller.